And he wrote to the president and said, it was so different, it was like night and day.
When that took place, it's like overnight, everything changed. I definitely, I created a relationship with God. And when that happened, it was like night and day, literally. So,
as of May 2016, the DOE's Heat Abatement Program has a goal of installing air conditioning units in 1,000 classrooms. They have also bought 402 portable air conditioning units for the hottest classrooms in Hawaii.
Now the learning environment is wonderful. The kids look forward to coming in. I look forward to coming in. I can stay in my classroom and work. I can meet with kids at lunch, at recess in the classroom, and have meetings here as well. And it's just a complete change around, like night and day.
G'day you mob and welcome to Aussie English. I am your host Pete and my objective here is to teach you guys the English spoken down under. So whether you want to sound like a fair dinkum Aussie or you just want to understand what the flippin' hell we're on about when we're having a yarn, you've come to the right place. So sit back, grab a cuppa and enjoy Aussie English. Let's go. G'day you mob, Pete here from Aussie English. Welcome to the Aussie English Podcast. This is the number one place for anyone and everyone wanting to learn Australian English, as well as get a fair dinkum true blue dose of Aussie culture, history, news and current affairs, facts, everything Australiana. So welcome. If it's your first time joining me on the Aussie English Podcast, thank you so much. Sit back, grab a cuppa, relax, enjoy. And if it is not your first time and you've been following me for a while, thanks for coming back. I really appreciate it. In fact, I was chatting to a guy recently, Thibaut from France, and he's probably not going to hear this for a while, but it was very heartwarming to read his email to me because he said, I've just found your podcast, it's helping a lot, and I'm going to start from the start. So he's obviously a glutton for punishment. That is an expression that means he is happy to be punished, happy to suffer, because he's gone back to episode number 1 and he's listening the entire way through until the most recent one. And as you guys know, listening to this episode, it's probably 800 and something like 10 or 12, or it's somewhere there. I'm not sure yet. I have to line them up. But there's a lot of episodes. So thank you, Thibaut. Merci beaucoup. He's from France. So guys, thanks for joining me. This is another expression episode, and I want to remind you that if you would like the transcripts for this episode, you just need to sign up to the Premium Podcast membership or the Academy membership, which includes the Premium Podcast membership. This works where you get access to full transcripts of all the episodes. You can download the MP3s onto your phone, onto your computer, onto your tablet with the transcripts. You can also get access to the Premium Podcast player so that you can listen, read, take notes, pause, fast forward, rewind, do all of that stuff at the same time. So it's my way of creating something, putting more effort into something to help you study more effectively with this material. Okay, so join the Premium Podcast. Just go to aussieenglish.com.au/podcast. Lastly, I should have added with the Premium Podcast, this will be also a video episode. I will only be releasing one of these every month or two on YouTube, free to you guys. But for those of you listening, these will also be video episodes where the interesting text, definitions, the different vocab and expressions that I use will come up on screen, where you can again take notes. And you'll also see the writing for the pronunciation exercise. You'll see videos and clips come up to try and help you understand what I'm talking about as I'm talking about it, okay? So I highly recommend sussing out, learning more about the Premium Podcast and giving it a go. Anyway, let's get into today's episode. So the expression today is like night and day. And that's not that the expression is like night and day. The expression is like night and day. Hopefully that makes sense. Before we get into it, I've got an Aussie joke for you. Here's the joke. How can you go without sleep for 7 days and not be tired? How can you go without sleep for 7 days and not be tired? Yeah. Sleep at night. Did you get it? 7 days. 7 days. That's the part of the day, ironically, where the sun is up. So this was always something, I remember being in primary school and having this argument with one of my teachers and being like, nah, the day is when the sun's up, the night is when the sun's down. And I remember my teacher saying, well, how many hours are there in a day? And we all said, well, 24 hours. And he's like, which part of that's night? I was like, ooh, touche. Well done. You got me. Checkmate. Anyway, how can you go without sleep for 7 days and not be tired? You sleep at night. So today's expression is like night and day. And this is a similar expression to that in episode 613, like apples and oranges, where like apples and oranges is talking about two things that aren't similar. They're contrasting. They're very different from one another. They are like apples and oranges. It's a similar expression, okay? Keep that one in mind. So, let's go through and define the words in this expression. The word like, we use this when we're comparing two things. We are saying that it is similar to that thing. So, I am like my father, right? I am similar to him, maybe in appearance, maybe in attitude, maybe in build, maybe in, well, I guess anything but age, probably. I'm like my father. Fish are like sharks, that they live in the water. They aren't sharks, but they're like them. Night. Well, night is the period of the day, or a day, the 24-hour cycle that the sun is going around the earth, where the sun is on the other side of the earth and there is no sunlight, it's dark, right? That is the night time, when it's dark outside, the night. And the day, or a day, I guess a day is 24 hours long. It's that entire period. But the day is when there is light outside. So when the sun is shining, it is the day, it is the daytime. When the sun is not shining, it is the night, it is the nighttime. So the expression for something to be like night and day is when something is completely different from something else. It's totally or nearly the complete opposite of that thing. And it's usually used, this expression like night and day is usually used when we're comparing two things after a change has occurred, right? So we're describing a clear change or difference between two things, usually after something's happened to cause that change to occur. Let's go through some examples of how I would use this expression. So example number one, someone has had a big accident where they've been terribly injured. You know, maybe they're in a big car accident, they've broken a lot of bones, they've had to go to hospital, you know, the ambos came, picked them up at the scene of the crash, raced them in, you know, went flat out all the way to the hospital, they had to have surgery, and then they had a lot of time to spend on the road to recovery to get better. So at first, you know, you see them and you think, man, this person's so badly injured, there's no hope. There's Buckley's chance that they are going to get better and properly function. They're probably always going to be using a wheelchair or a walking stick or a walking frame. But slowly but surely, they heal up, they get better. And the end result is like night and day. You know, it may take 6 weeks, could take several months, could take a few years, but they end up almost completely back to normal. And the difference between when they were in hospital and when you see them now is like night and day, right? Those two things are so different from one another. It's incredible. It's like night and day. They're the complete opposites. Example number 2. So imagine you pick up a new hobby, right? You dive into some new hobby. Maybe it is painting or drawing or sculpting, right? You suck at it to begin with. You're horrible at this thing. You're really bad at drawing or painting or sculpting, but you start getting lessons. You start watching YouTube videos. You know, you dive head first into this hobby. You learn new techniques and you work really hard to sharpen up your skills, to improve. And you end up becoming a really talented painter of portraits, drawer of landscapes, or sculptor of sculptures. And so when someone sees you one day, you might show them your original work, what you first were doing in the first days and weeks that you started your hobby, and then what you can do today. And they may be so shocked, they might say, wow, the difference is like night and day. This is so different. It's so contrasted. You know, it is just phenomenal. It's like night and day. Incredible. Example number 3. So imagine you're a young kid who's never liked school. You know, you were always flunking class, you were always wagging, not going to school, pulling a sickie, and you've always acted up if you were forced to actually go to school and go to class, you know, causing problems, running amok, distracting other students, not doing your homework. So one day you get pulled up by the teacher. He tells you, you know, you're going to have to go to the principal's office and have a talk to the principal because, you know, you're not doing what you should be doing. You end up getting dragged into the principal's office, having a chat to him, and he pretty much just says, you know, you need to pull your thumb out, right? You need to pull your head out. You need to get in the straight and narrow, start studying hard, focus more on school. You can do this, but it's important. You need to start, you know, doing the right thing. Slowly but surely, after a few months, the principal keeps checking in on you, and he sees that you're progressing, you know, and that your attitude's completely changed, that you're a completely different person. And he thinks, you know, look, the kid's turned over a new leaf. He's started again. He's begun again. He's refreshed things. And him compared to what he was in the past is like night and day. They're completely different things. They're like night and day. So hopefully now, guys, you understand the expression like night and day. It means to be completely different, totally or nearly opposite. It's usually used to describe a clear change or difference between two things, often after that change has just occurred, right? So, you know, wow, this just happened. These two things, it's like night and day. So let's have a listen again to those clips from the start and see if you can understand how the expression like night and day is being used.
And he wrote to the president and said, it was so different, it was like night and day.
You know, when that took place, it's like overnight, you know, everything changed. You know, I definitely, I created a relationship with God. And when that happened, it was like night and day, literally. So
As of May 2016, the DOE's Heat Abatement Program has a goal of installing air conditioning units in 1,000 classrooms. They have also bought 402 portable air conditioning units for the hottest classrooms in Hawaii.
Now the learning environment is wonderful. The kids look forward to coming in. I look forward to coming in. I can stay in my classroom and work. I can meet with kids at lunch, at recess in the classroom, and have meetings here as well. And it's just a complete change around like night and day.
Great work. Now it's time to do the listen and repeat pronunciation exercise. This is your chance, guys, to work on your pronunciation. So I recommend that you find somewhere quiet, away from other people, and you can speak out loud. Listen and repeat these words and phrases after me and try and sound like exactly what I am saying, the way that I'm saying these things. If you're working on an Australian accent, if you're not, that's cool too. Just use the words and phrases more as a prompt to practice your pronunciation, your accent that you're going for. Okay, so let's go. Like night, like night and day, like night and day, like night and day, like night and day, like night and day. I reckon it's like night and day. You reckon it's like night and day. He reckons it's like night and day. She reckons it's like night and day. We reckon it's like night and day. They reckon it's like night and day. It reckons it's like night and day. Good work, guys. Man, there was some interesting stuff going on there pronunciation-wise, where you might hear the stop consonants at the end of the word like it's being muted. So you'll hear like, night and day, like night and day. You might hear the T at the end of the word night. That's a hard T there, night. You might hear that turn into a T flap, night and day, like night and day, like night and day. And you may also hear the word and being reduced and turned just into an n sound, right? Just into the n sound, like night and day. Like night and day. I reckon it's like night and day. If you want to learn more about Australian pronunciation, you really want to level up your Australian English pronunciation, I highly recommend, guys, that you check out my Australian pronunciation course. This will go through all the different consonant sounds, the vowel sounds in Australian English. It'll teach you how to use the IPA, the International Phonetic Alphabet, in order to help you improve your pronunciation. You know, you can use that as a tool to study on your own with dictionaries, with other texts, as well as with my resources to improve your pronunciation. And you'll also get more than 20 advanced lessons that I've more recently added to this course that will teach you things like the Australian R sound, the syllabic N, the syllabic L, these really advanced sounds that make a big difference when wanting to speak more naturally like a native speaker. So anyway, guys, besides that, I recommend too getting the premium podcast in the Academy if you want the transcripts and if you want to see these videos. Okay, so I'm doing my best to work hard on producing these expression videos now so that those of you who are visual learners can see clips of the things that I'm talking about as I'm talking. You can see the text come up on the screen, the definitions, the pronunciation stuff that comes up as well. But if you're like me and you prefer to sort of learn through watching and seeing, you'll probably get a lot more out of these episodes if you sign up for the premium podcast or Academy membership so that you can get access to these videos. All right. Before we finish up, I wanted to talk about an Aussie fact, obviously. That's what I like to do at the end of these episodes. And I was thinking, how do I tie in something with night and day? A big change where there was a big difference. And so I thought the first thing that came to mind was when I was talking to my grandfather over Christmas. He came down on, I think it was the 27th with my grandma. And my grandfather is 90 years old. It's pretty crazy. He was born in 1930. And he was talking to me about how at the time when he was a young kid, there weren't many cars on the roads. It was actually much more common to see horses pulling carts, milk carts, the bread cart. They'd be taking people around. People wouldn't have cars. They'd have a horse or two and a cart. And he was saying that it was that period, that decade, the 1930s to the 1940s, where this rapid change occurred, where horses effectively disappeared because everyone could now buy a car. And so he was saying the change was like night and day. It was just really insane looking back on that now and realizing that once upon a time there were probably, 1 million horses or more in Australia because everyone needed one to get around in one form or another, or for work or for, farm work. And then all of a sudden no one needed them anymore unless they were, riding them for fun or working on farms. So that was just an incredible story. Hopefully I can interview him in the future about these things because it's just phenomenal to think that he's, 10 years away from being 100 years old. Absolutely crazy. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Don't forget, if you want the free worksheet, you'll be able to get the definitions for these, for the words that were mentioned, as well as the text for the pronunciation exercise and the audio there. Download that where you listen to this episode on the website. Again, if you want the transcript, get the premium podcast or Academy membership. And besides that, I hope you have an amazing day. See you guys.